All right, Middle East peace plan, that's supposed to be revealed today. What do we know about that situation?
Well, very little has been disclosed so far, Kevin. I have confidence in Donald Trump, probably the most pro-Israel president we've had in the modern history of Israel. I can't say that it's going to go all that far. I know the Palestinian leaders have preemptively dismissed it, in keeping with an old line about Palestinian leadership. They never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. The fact of the matter is there can't be a stable, peaceful solution to the Palestinian-Israeli dispute until the Palestinians are willing to lay down their arms and to accept the Jewish nation of Israel's right to exist.
Senator, I mean, don't you have to have two parties to a peace plan? I mean, could this make that situation worse?
You do have to have two parties for a peace plan, and I would remind all the listeners that one half of one of the parties, the Gaza Strip, which is technically under Palestinian Authority control, is run by Hamas, a terror organization dedicated to Israel's destruction. That's why I say that no matter what the president unveils today, and no matter how much Benjamin Netanyahu and even some Arab leaders may accept it, until the Palestinians are willing to accept the Jewish state's right to live and exist on their homeland, it's going to be hard to have a peaceful outcome to that dispute.
All right, we'll see what happens with that. Senator, the Iran attack, the president saying that troops had headaches there. You did an interview on CBS about that subject. What happened in that interview?
Yeah, so Kevin, despite being interrupted a lot, or I should say because of being interrupted a lot, I don't think the main point got across, which is I don't believe the president was dismissing or downplaying anyone's injury. He was describing injuries that fell on the lower end of the spectrum of traumatic brain injury. Now, thankfully, the military takes such injuries more seriously than they did when I was in the service 15 years ago, and the science has advanced. So it's not surprising to me that in addition to, I think about 15 or 20 troops or so have been returned to duty already because they had very mild injuries. Others have been moved to Germany or even back to the United States for further observation. Again, it's very different from what would have happened 15 years ago, and that's
certainly
our military. And I think the president was just describing the fact that many of the injuries were on the less serious side of the spectrum. And let's pray that all the other injuries turn out to be fully recoverable as well.
Senator, though, but the president's saying that these were headaches. That's not dismissive?
Again, I don't think that's dismissing or downplaying it, Kevin. I think he's describing the fact that several of the soldiers were already returned to duty by the time he was saying that. And again, I saw this when I was in Iraq, Kevin. You had people whose vehicles got blown up. They showed some possible symptoms of concussion. They reported the symptoms of being largely a headache, and within a day or two, they returned to duty. Of course, you're going to have a more serious traumatic incident, or probably the worst case scenario, which is not implicated in this one attack, is a series of injuries over time. You know, as you see with NFL players, the most traumatic injuries can happen when you have a series of repeated head injuries over time.
Senator Tom Cotton, the VFW asking for an apology there. Do you support that? Do you think the president should come back and just say, hey, look?
No, Kevin, because as I said, I don't think he was being dismissive or downplaying their injuries. I don't think he was minimizing traumatic brain injury. I mean, he's seen troops at Walter Reed with very serious brain injuries coming back from Iraq or Afghanistan. I believe he was just describing the fact that on several of these soldiers, I think about half of them, they were on the mild end of the spectrum and they'd already been returned to duty. So I think that's what he was getting at when he said that several of the soldiers had headaches. That's probably, in fact, what they reported as symptoms. They had headaches. They were taken off duty. They were sent to the medical clinic at Al-Assad, and after a day or two, they were concluded to be fine and sent back to duty.
Senator Tom Cotton, the coronavirus, worries about that.
Yeah, it's very serious, Kevin. The latest evidence that's come out in the last couple of days shows that it perhaps did not originate in this fish market in the city of Wuhan in central China. So now its origin is unknown. Even more worrisome, it would appear, based on the latest epidemiological discoveries, that it can transmit before being symptomatic, which means that someone may not have a fever, may not have a cough, may not have respiratory problems, yet they can go ahead and transmit the disease. So I think that our government needs to take a very aggressive, proactive stance. This is an instance where an ounce of prevention equals a pound of cure. And I would urge all of your listeners, if you have plans to go to China anytime soon, to postpone those plans.
Senator Tom Cotton, good to talk to you this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right.